Yeah. Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode, a very special episode where we get to celebrate Richmond Kickers being the USL regular season champions. We get to celebrate Emiliano Terzaghi winning 3 Golden Boots. We get to celebrate Jonathan Bolaños being the assist leader in USL League One. We get to celebrate Jacob Malpin of being the greatest kickaroo in the team history. This is a celebration all around, guys. But as always, I'm your host, Elliot Barnes. Joining me is a man that got a little choked up when Akira talked about David Belo. It's Matt Myers. How are you doing, sir?
Doing all right. I think there was a lot more you in that moment, for being honest here. But yeah,
Matt
fun
is
night
unemotional
Saturday.
in certain moments. It's unemotional. Also joining us is another man that decided to bring his baby, and instead of watching the game, he watched his kid play with dirt the entire time. It's Mr. Chenier. How are you doing, sir?
Dad life.
Yeah. Did Benny at least wash his hands afterwards?
With a wipe, yeah.
Okay, so there was at least some sanitation.
Literally give him like a wipe bath before getting in the car, and then. But he had a blast. He had a good time. That's what matters.
Well, I mean, hey, that's the most important thing. That is the most important thing. So, guys, I think this podcast is going to be one of those podcasts where we talk about more of the stuff that happened off the field and on the field, because the game essentially for us didn't matter. But don't tell that to Greenville fans, because they think being number 2 is more important than being number 1. Give and take by that celebration, which, yeah. But guys, if we got to start with the game, were you guys shocked at all to see the starting lineup at all, given how many starters were in the starting roles?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because I don't really think there's any part of Darren that is ever a lay down and die sort of guy. So even though it wouldn't be laying down and dying, it would be pulling the foot off the accelerator. I don't know that's really in his DNA, but I also get it. Like you don't want to kind of go cold and basically give guys 2 full weeks off. I mean, I think we talked about this last time. Like how many times back like the Peyton Manning era did you see the Colts sit guys for a couple weeks and then just get blasted out of the playoffs first round?
Yeah, that was really his legacy for like a good part. Yeah, I mean, regular stars. The only person that was really missing, Stu, which we got an update on. Stu is healthy, should be ready to go for the playoffs, so that's good to know. And Jonathan Bolaños, he should be ready to go for the playoffs as well. So, given those 2 starters out, everybody was pretty much the same. Oh, Gordon came in. He looked lively and he looked well. And I got to say, for the first half that I can remember, because I'm not going to lie, I was pretty intoxicated for most of the game. The Kickers looked good in possession. Really good. Didn't have to worry as much for the first half.
Yeah, I mean the first half the ball we spent most of the time in Greenville's half. The ball spent most of the time in Greenville's half. We were creating chances, a lot of chances. I know that doesn't register too much with regards to shots on goal, but the chances were there. We were dangerous. We were really putting their back line under a lot of pressure. Speaking of Gordon, almost got an acrobatic Hollywood finish off of a cross. I think it was from Ethan Bryant that went over everyone. He went for the I would say 2 feet off the ground side volley, but didn't connect. But I mean, if he had, I think the stadium would have gone nuts.
Yeah, and we've talked about this other times that we played Greenville, but and these are 2 teams that are very comfortable playing without the ball. So I think you saw that a little bit in each half. Each team being happy to kind of concede possession, let the other team try to figure it out, and yeah, I mean, credit to both teams. I think they actually did a good job of building into something instead of being reliant on a counter.
Yeah, no, it really does. For Richmond, they really did feel that way. It felt like they were more comfortable playing on the ball and taking their time trying to probe through the attack them versus just hitting long and try to just hit hope balls. Yeah. So yeah, it does feel that way. Um, Overall thoughts on the first half. We have the goal that was scored by Emiliano Terzaghi from the says from Matthew Bryant. Do any of y'all remember how it was scored? I'm gonna
Yeah,
give the
I
floor to
mean,
y'all.
yeah, it's
well, yeah. So it's oh yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
go for it, Chenier.
Okay. Well, I do remember seeing Bentley coming down that right flank, and it was basically a cross that went in. It was deflected by the fullback there, but I don't think he got enough on it to send it, either out of bounds for a corner or send it back the other way for a throw in. And it still made its way through to Terzaghi, who just literally put a finish on it.
I'm not even
Just
sure if it
coming into
was.
the box as he usually does.
I'm not even sure if it was deflected. To be honest, I'm trying to pull it up real quick, but I thought he just got through clean. So it starts. The ball starts with Ethan Bryant. In the midfield near the midfield circle. Okay, yeah, it does take a slight. It bounces off. The left back. I wouldn't say a deflection. I think kind of implies that he was trying to do anything with it, and I think it's more hit him. But then it's classic Emmy goal after that. He beats Evan Lee, the front post, and just kind of toe pokes it home near post. And we've seen that goal how many times this year in various forms. Whether it's with Bentley or Bolaños or Gordon feeding that ball in, Payne feeding that ball into Emmy. I think that's almost the literal classic Terzaghi goal.
Yeah. No, that is it. That is the typical Terzaghi goal, and we've seen him score that goal so many times, that 17 times, in fact, which makes him the go-to boot winner this year. Pause right here to talk about just Terzaghi and whatnot. 3 golden boots, 2 MVPs. Assuming that he gets it there, let's just say he does, but we actually all know it's probably going to go to Bolaños. Where would you guys rank Emiliano Terzaghi in terms of greatest players in USL League One collectively, Championship and League One?
I mean, I think it's hard to measure across leagues.
You think so?
Yeah, because there's literally no overlap between the two.
Okay. I think in terms of like talking about is he the best striker in USL? For me, yes. I would say like in terms of both leagues. But I mean, yeah, he hasn't played. Actually, okay. Now the more I'm thinking about it, you're right. Darn it, Matt! I hate it when you make great arguments.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's not. I just don't think there's enough evidence to be able to say he is, because I mean, you think about other guys who moved up, like Hurst. Last year was very good. Conway last year, they were both really good for Omaha, and they've been good. Slightly above average to good, I think, in the championship. They haven't been game breakers, and they're not at the same scoring at the same rate they were for Omaha last year. I mean, part of that could be a function of team, but even Conway's playing for one of the better teams, the Championship West.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. Yeah, you're right. But in terms of probably USL League One, he probably is the greatest person, and it's only a matter of time before the league. Which one do you think they're going to name after him? Is it going to be the Golden Boot or the MVP award?
I don't think they're going to name either one of them after anybody, but it would be the
should.
Golden Boot first.
Yeah.
They should rename
hat trick of Golden Boots. I mean, that's.
Wait, has that ever happened before in American soccer? Have we ever had anyone win 3 Golden Boots back to back?
I'm sure somebody has.
It would have to be like in some obscure league, because I think we would have that person would have been touted as basically a U.S. soccer immortal of sorts, if
Man, I
that were
don't
the
know.
case. Now we've gotten to a point where there is so much content in U.S. soccer, there is so much notoriety in U.S. soccer that even though this is happening, I think it's sad to say that this is going to kind of go under the radar in the mainstream.
Yeah. So nobody's
I
done it.
know
Nobody's
it's a
done it in
lower league.
MLS. I can tell you
No one's
that.
done the MLS. Okay.
Yeah, definitely not.
It'd be too hard to go back and look through some of the A League stuff. There's a couple guys from like the A League era of USL that I think it's possible could have done it, but offhand I just don't know.
Okay. So we still have that ability. All right. Well, it'd be cool to see if he is. That'd be something dope to have. I mean, this team literally broke a whole host of records. Like I think Nate was telling us last night, like this team broke the was it most goals in USL League One. You know, Bolaños already broke the assist record. Zaghi with the 3 golden boots. Like, given where this team was in 2019 in October, you remember when we did the emergency podcast when Bulow got fired.
Yeah.
And where that team was then and how, I wouldn't say broken it was, but just like how the fan base was and how all the conversations about like, well, we're struggling to get attendances, people don't care about the team, to now the team selling out, what, 60,000? You know,
6,000.
It'd be 60,000. My fault. 6,000. Yeah, if it was 60,000, they would have to open up an additional other stands, which probably wouldn't happen. But it's just crazy to see like how this team has transitioned over the years. You know, over the last 3 years. You know.
Yeah, I mean, people like winners.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, people like winners, and you will have those that are there because, I mean, those that really are into the game, that are there because the soccer is more exciting as well too. I mean, if we were winning games 1-0 here and there all over the place, and we 1-0'd our way to first place, I doubt the stands would be as packed as they were. I do think that it would be a much bigger attendance record than we're used to, but I think what fills it out is also the fact that this Kickers team plays exciting soccer. I mean, when you look at most of our wins are we've scored 3 goals or more. When you look at a lot of our wins, and most of those 3 or more goal wins are at home, and it just shows that what Darren was talking about in his press conference when he first took the job is basically what came into fruition. This is what he has been striving for. We want to score goals. We want to play exciting soccer. We want to entertain. And this Kickers team has entertained this season and has really turned a lot of eyes and brought a lot of people brought awareness to a lot of people that, hey, Richmond's got a team and they're pretty darn good.
Well, you also know what's an exciting part of this team is this midfield trio of Neil, Ethan, and Zaka. All 3 of them are really good footballers, right?
They're okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, there were multiple times within the first half I'm like, oh, he has space. Oh, Ethan. And now it's like, when I watch Ethan in playing in the midfield, it's like, you can just tell he's just in a different gear than a lot of the guys that he's playing around.
Yeah, I really feel like in the last month or two, he's kind of taken that proverbial leap.
Yeah,
where he's been able to level up.
Absolutely.
And kind of really start to control the game around him, and have a lot more confidence on the ball. Like I feel like early in the year, you would see him get kind of bullied off the ball sometimes, and now you're not seeing that. He's putting himself in a position where he's not even getting the contact at all, because he's able to see it coming and moving around and out of the way of it before it can ever happen.
Yeah, no, it definitely does feel like
that.
There's
an example.
Oh, you guys in there?
Yeah, I was saying that just an example was at one point, I think it was in the second half, where a bouncing ball is coming towards him. The defender's coming in hot, and he just calmly flicks the ball over that defender's head and keeps it moving. It was done with so much swag. I mean, it would be something that if Messi had done it, it would be on repeat on ESPN Sportsnet. It would be all over the internet. It would break Twitter. It was on that level, and just seeing some of the stuff that Ethan Bryan has been able to do, some of the moves his confidence has gone up, which is leading to a lot of these flicks and tricks that we're seeing him do in the midfield that aren't risky. They're just well applied and done with such 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 beauty and artistic beauty on the field that he's really making a name for himself in USL League One.
Another player for the first half that really stood out to me was Dakota Barnathan, man. That partnership of him and Jalen has really gelled and hardened over the last couple of games, man. But it seems like both of them playing to these other strengths really, really well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
another thing with Barnathan is one thing, a player he does remind me of. I know it's a completely different position that he plays, but was Travis Wara. His energy and intensity and how he plays to the fans and there was one portion in the game that just reminded me of Travis Wara, where he does some defensive work, gets the ball out for a corner, and right before he's getting set up to defend this corner, he pumps his fist up at the Red Army, and that energy was like I just brought me back to some of those saves that Travis Wara makes, and he'll turn to the Red Army and celebrate with us. I mean, seeing that in a player and for him to still have the composure to do his job defensively is just wonderful to have on the Kickers team.
Yeah, I was wondering how you're going to get to him reminding you of a goalkeeper.
I know. I know. At first, it's kind of like, wait, where are you going?
You said, yeah, he reminds me of Travis Wara and Matt Hanwilling. Wait, what? That's the funny part. So at this point, if you were happy to be scoreboard watching, or me and Matt were doing, where I literally ran up to Matt and I was like, so if this was all told and they get a scoreboard watching as I was doing, at halftime, Greenville was on the road at this point because Union Omaha lost shockingly to Central Valley Fuego. Tormenta was starting to thump Chattanooga, and Charlotte was starting to stomp NCFC, who, once again, man, that team, you talk about a team that all the air came out of them, and I really felt like the moment that it really changed, and I was thinking about it last night, where our season went up and their season went down, was the 3-2 comeback in North Carolina. Like, I feel like that's the moment where Richmond from that moment on went up and NCFC went down. Because it's like, if Richmond loses that game, then you're sitting there, you're like, oh, like, all the negativity comes back, all the hardships and everything. But to get that win there, might have been the moment.
Just because had 13 games since then, only lost one, and that might be a turning point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it might have been it, man. But
yeah, so Greenville they were never going to be on the road, but they were looking at playing this coming weekend, which I mean, some people debate. I'd rather have to only play 2 games in the playoffs to win a championship than 3.
Yeah,
especially in this league where a lot of weird stuff happens at times.
Oh yeah,
I would too. I would rather be on the road. I mean, be at home with 2 games versus 3.
Yeah,
rather do that. We started on the second half. Started the second half. Guys, what did you see going on in the second half? Was it kind of more or less the same in your opinions, or do you feel like the momentum changed? Do you feel like Richmond sat back a little bit too much? What were kind of your thoughts?
I mean, the field definitely flipped in the second half. Greenville, they knew they had to chase, so they were. And I think, the Kickers happy to do what they do is and sit in, wait, look for the opportunity, but trust the defense. And for a good long period, it was holding up really well. Greenville had some shots here or there, but probably the first half of the second half really not a lot happened. And when you're up, when you're looking to preserve a lead, not a lot happening is good news.
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt. It kind of felt like Greenville Wills were just sputtering. It felt like Richmond was like, all right, we can ride this out. And I had one thought in my head. I was just like, man, this is going to be really good for Richmond to go into the postseason, getting 2 wins off our rivals at the end of the season with 2 clean sheets. That's going to feel really good, really positive. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because Greenville scored and then celebrated as if they won the league in front of us, which I'm glad there's not microphones in the round because there was a lot of swearing.
Oh,
Whatever.
Yeah. A lot of swearing, a lot of birds flying around. But this goal, Matt, you probably paid more attention to me, but how did this goal come about?
Well, you may be surprised to hear about this, but it came off of a restart.
Oh,
different flavor this time. So this one came off of a long throw, and I'm not actually complaining about this, but I'm pretty sure, like, letter of the law, you're not supposed to be able to put that much spin on a ball, when you're throwing it in. Do I actually care about that? Not really. Nobody ever calls that, so whatever. But yeah, dude launches it, deep, kind of like an awning type throw.
Yeah.
In there, bounces around. Former kicker Evan Lee, ends up, retrieving it. Kind of dribbles around, the back post and fires a low cross in, and I don't know, hyphen dude. I can't remember what his names are. Whatever. I don't care about him. I don't really care what his name is.
Oxy Axwood.
Yeah. I mean,
that kind of last
easy finish from 6 yards out there.
Yeah. It was easy tapping. I understand, like, God, I wish we would have kept this clean sheet. It is frustrating, and I think that's the only thing that can hurt the kickers. If you want to spin this into a positive, the positive is that this kind of result keeps the kickers on their toes. It keeps them on their toes, keeps them alert. But at the end of the day, like, we're still number one, and we rubbed it in your face.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've cared less about giving up a goal that changed the result in a long, long time.
Yeah, no. And it feels good to not have cared. Like, I think I was telling you there, I was like, even if this game isn't a draw,
we have a cushion.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't hurt anything. Like, literally, the result just keeps both teams that went 1-2 at the start is that it 1-2. That's all that happened. It's literally all that happened. So Richmond goes out here, we go 1-1, and then all of a sudden we have the party of a lifetime. We want to have a bigger party November 6th, but last night, y'all, it was a real big party. As soon as that final whistle went, and I asked the players this, like, what was their thoughts? But I want to hear you guys' thoughts. As soon as that final whistle went, what were your first initial thoughts?
I'll be honest, not much.
Oh, yeah. Fun. Well, my first initial thoughts were like, I am about to get hammered and have fun.
What do you mean get? You already were. I mean, granted, you probably like sweated all of it out during the game because
yeah,
60,
but I'm about to go more.
65 degrees out there, and you were dressed like it was frozen tundra in Green Bay.
Okay. In my defense, I was in my house all day, and I thought it was going to be cold. And I was like,
you got the Weather Channel at your house?
Well, no, because I just thought it was fall. And then when I stepped outside, how you already committed to it, and you're like, oh, I'm not about to go change. Like, I don't feel like going to go change. And then I was like, all right, you know, it's going to be colder. It's going to, you know, die down. And it was. It started to get a little bit colder. And I felt fine.
My dude, all I'm going to say is I know for an absolute fact you've not been opposed to shedding layers in the stands in the past.
This is also true. That was a different level of drunk, though, where we were piss poor, and I was just like, I don't care about this game. I had to at least be presentable enough because I had to give Bolaños the David Buell Award. But
yeah.
But the celebration was, you know, lasting. Like, it was still fun. It was, you know, but my real thought at the end of the game was, all right, cool. You know, didn't lose. I thought we were going to, you know, pull another bit of magic there at the very, very end, and you know, just dagger their hearts. I really wanted that just to be able to talk all kind of mess right back to Greenville players.
Oh, I did.
But
that would have been
like, all right, cool. Nobody else got hurt, so we're good. Let's see who we get.
Yeah, that was the most important thing. Like, no one came off the field hurt. Everyone looked to be in good spirits. Only player that was in crutches was Ethan Vandercourt-Decker, and that was given because, you know, he just blew out his Achilles a couple of weeks ago. But outside of that, man, I'm just glad no one got hurt. Everyone looked good. Everyone looked to have played a good game. And I think the person who enjoyed themselves the most was Luke.
I was worried he was going to get himself hurt.
Oh, man. Yo, so when they came over and ran to us and Luke did the backflip, only thing in my head, I was just like, please don't blow out your ACL. Like, please don't blow out your knee.
Oh, yeah, because he landed at like 80%.
Right.
80%. But he played it off with the roll, with the tuck and roll.
I swear I thought only thing I saw was him just fall because he did the flip in front of me, and I'm just looking at him just like, he really about to blow out his knees. Trying to do this. Oh man, that I mean, they had fun. They celebrated themselves. I think Zaka learned a new few words in English because he was having a whole conversation with me, and I was like, okay, Zaka, all right. He's like, we got the title.
I think some of the guys, you know a little bit more English than maybe they let on at times.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I want to give a shout out to Matt because during the post-game conference, Matt asked a question in Spanish, and Chizagi looked at Matt and was like, thank you for answering your question in Spanish. And in my head, I was like, well, wait, why did you just answer him back in English? And I was like, oh, wait, Chizagi.
I kind of hoping he would at that point.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
Also, I'm pretty sure I didn't ask the right question because the answer that came back did not match the question. So I'm pretty sure I did not, pull out my strongest Spanish 2 and Spanish 3 skills from high school 20 plus years ago.
No, probably not. But I mean, hey, you at least got congratulations from him. But yeah, like seeing the players on the field, and we gotta take a moment talk about Kickaroo. For those who don't know, we put it on our social medias, but Kickaroo's also talk about it. This is his last regular season game. I'm assuming he's still gonna be around for the playoffs and everything like that.
Yeah.
But he'll be stepping down. Not Kickaroo himself, but the person that does Kickaroo will be stepping down. There'll be a new Kickaroo. So congratulations to him. We know all the work that he's put into it, all the literal sweat that he loses per game in that out costume. It's insane. But congratulations to him going to his next endeavor. We wish him all the best. But and as I mentioned earlier, the David Buell Award went to Jonathan Bolaños, which congratulations to him, man. Like, I know this year has been a major up and down. It's been very high in points, and it's been kind of low in points with the injuries and whatnot. But the way how he's been able to bounce back from those injuries, man, and he has an extra week just to rest up and get healthy. Man, I think we still are going to see the best Jonathan Bolaños in these playoffs.
Yeah, I think if this game mattered and he really needed to play, he would have been out there. But it's one of those where rest up, no point in risking it on an absolute dead rubber game and put it out there. But yeah, I think this season is far more highs, than the couple of lows along the way. But I mean, just imagine if he didn't miss basically 2 months at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
I swear, I think that assist record would have been way out of the water at that point. Then, if he doesn't miss, it's like a big stretch at the beginning part of the season because of that crappy foul in the U.S. Open Cup.
Imagine if they just didn't short him some of his other assists that he actually had too.
yeah.
Would have had 12. I swear, I still believe that man had that 4 assist game. I'm not gonna let that go. He
Yeah,
had that 4 assist game.
one thing with Jonathan Bolaños, which is a testament to his performance this season, is even though I know we didn't really care too much about the result of this game, but his absence was felt in this game. There was a lot of I think the best way I could say is kind of predictability with the kicker's attack in this game that Bolaños does bring a change to. And his absence was felt in this game, in this final game of the season. It didn't matter, it was one of those games that if we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. It doesn't matter. The result is the same. We're still regular season league champions. But just with that being said, not only that, on top of that, out of all of the starting players, he is the one who is sat out for this game because we're keeping him under bubble wrap for playoffs. Is a testament to his value to the team and his value to the starting 11.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like he's earned it, man. He's earned every accolade that he's gotten. Do we know when they're going to announce MVP? Is it going to be next week or after the playoffs?
I feel like I remember it being usually the week of the final.
Okay.
I feel like that's right because I think they usually like to do their whole like awards and all that, like pomp and circumstance right around final time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I would guess we got 2 weeks to be able to find that out.
Yeah.
But the thing with Bolaños too is like you mentioned Bryant taking kind of the leap this year. He did that probably sometime late last year, and through the preseason this year, but it's still so easy to see, how much room there is for him to grow still too.
Mm-hmm. Matt, like you always say, those one-on-ones. He had a couple of those, man. He might be up there in the playoff in the Golden Boot race as well if he hits a couple of those.
I mean, Emmy was up 11 on him, so he need more than a couple, but
yeah. He would finish up there a little bit higher. Rest of the celebrations went the way how you thought. It was also fan appreciation night. It was great to see the players be able to sign some of the autographs and kind of all of them get all their love. Like there was a point where I think like Eli, I don't want to call him the 18-year-old center back, but his name is escaping me right now. Him, Eli,
Otavio,
yeah, Modella, they were all kind of just standing there, and I told him, I was like, "Yo, go in there and go get some love. Like y'all are part of this team too. Like it was just good to see like all those players get recognized and get love, as well because all the hard work they have put into this year. And I don't know if you guys caught it in the broadcast. I caught it in the stands where we first scored. There was a moment where we scored, and you can see Darren Sawazi. He kind of just stops and just looks around the entire stadium. It kind of just soak it in for a little bit. And I asked him about it in the press game. He was just like, yeah, because it just goes to show like all the hard work that we do, and it all pays off on a night like this. And given where, what Darren has done over the course of the 3 years, the team has constantly gotten better, constantly has improved. And I gotta say, it would be a shame if he doesn't get recognized as coach of the year this year.
I don't see who else would be able to get like. Maybe they give it to like Ian Cameron because the league loves Tormenta, but that's the only other spot I can see it going.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it was Richard who pointed out like, Sawatsky has not been nominated for Coach of the Month yet. But as I was also looking at it, maybe I should have wrote it out. I think I did write it out, but I don't have it completed. But like every time Sawatsky was up for it, another coach has had like a crazy month instead. Like Tormenta this month. Like Richmond had the second best record. Who had the first? Tormenta. Or like I stretched during August, July. Tormenta had one of that crazy binge rate. So it's like whenever Terwasi has been the most consistent, there's been another coach who's had a great month, but also who's ever won a coach of the month has had a bad month following up. So I'm cool with it.
Also, I couldn't believe that this was the first time Bolaños won Player of the Month. Like I'm thinking back to his June. Like, who won it in June? Because I figured he had to have won it that month when he was just racking up all those assists like crazy.
June was when he took fire.
Right.
I can't tell you off the top of my head. Do you have it pulled up? Do you know?
No, I can look real fast, but
okay. Yeah, that's interesting to know. Like, who's else won Player of the Month? Because Zavanos, I don't think.
Emmy won the previous month because he started to rack up goals.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to think, has Tazardi won one?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Emmy won for August.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Emmy won for August. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think wow, this is his first one. That's interesting. All right. So while Matt looking that up, we have the top 6 that's finished. Out of play. So this is how the season go. You got at the 60, you got Charlotte, Union Omaha's 5th, which by the way, their Twitter was destroyed because fans apparently don't like the way how they lost to Fuego, which was funny. Also, did y'all see Fuego's picture of how they mocked Union Omaha after the game?
Oh, with the whole
No.
So, okay, this is how it happened. So, Union Omaha before the game put out a tweet, was like, hey, buy your home season playoff tickets now. And Central Valley was like, all right, bet. Central Valley go in there and beat them. And then Boxell was like, hey, we might not have playoff tickets on sale, but you can get your 2023 season tickets now. And I just thought that was funny because he took the picture in the locker.
So Galindrez won it in June, which I still think is a disaster of a choice. Because he scored. So in fairness, both him and Bolaños beat up on Charlotte during their disaster month.
Yeah.
So he got, Johnny got fat on assists off of Charlotte. Galindrez got fat on goals off of Charlotte. So, people love goals.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, we got talking about Galindrez. We got Chattanooga at 4. Tormenta is going to be the 3 seed, Greenville 2, and Richmond, of course, is your overall number 1 seed. So the first round matchups is going to be Union Omaha going to Chattanooga, Tormenta welcoming Charlotte. So Richmond can depending on what match you're looking at and who wins, Richmond can either play Chattanooga, Union Omaha, or Charlotte. Those are the teams that we're open to playing. I want to ask you guys this question. Who do you think we're going to get?
I think we get Chattanooga. If I had my choice out of all of them, I'd take Omaha right now.
Okay. What about you, Shane?
Same here. I'm thinking the same thing. Union Omaha has been in abysmal form lately. So I don't see them getting past the purring Chattanooga, or Chattanooga winning. There's even if Charlotte do win that game, Charlotte will end up playing Greenville.
No, Charlotte wins. They come here no matter what.
Oh,
yeah, because they're the 6 seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
So if Charlotte wins, no matter what, we'll get Charlotte. But if Charlotte loses, then we get the winner of Chattanooga and Union Omaha.
Yeah. South Georgia have been have been steamrolling through their last few games with 3 draws and 2 wins.
I don't know. That's steamrolling.
Not steamrolling, but they've been clicking. They had a bit of a revival in their last 5 games. I don't see Charlotte Independence team being able to beat that. So yeah, I think it's Chattanooga that we're going to end up playing against. But at least we've broken that curse.
I think we get Union Omaha. I think Union Omaha upsets Chattanooga. I think Tormenta gets by Charlotte. I think they sweep by. And I think we get Union Omaha. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be interesting, though. Real quick, just give you the times of those games. Tormenta versus Charlotte is at 7 p.m. on October 22nd. Chattanooga versus Union Omaha is going to be at 7:30 on the 22nd on ESPN Plus. So make sure that you tune in to watch those. Guys, with this extra week off, what are y'all going to do? We don't have anything to do next week. I mean, besides do our podcast on Sunday, which we're going to preview wherever team we're going to be playing. But we have a free weekend on Saturday.
Yeah.
I can tell what it sounds. You're like, what do I need to do?
No, I mean, for everyone
that watching those games, though.
No, here's the move for everybody. All the dumb family shit that you need to do to make people happy. That you're being participatory and you're being a good husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you are in the relationship. Next weekend's your time to go all in on that, so that way you can cash in for the next 2 weekends of just full on City Stadium party time.
Pretty much.
So this week is the week to bite the bullet on whatever it is you don't like to do and your significant other, your family likes to do. Like, hey, you know what? I really think it'd be a good idea if we go to the pumpkin patch together or whatever other seasonal.
Yeah, go to the fall festivals that are happening this coming weekend, not the ones that are happening next weekend.
Get all that stuff out the way. Yeah.
Because if you're listening to this, you're busy on the 29th. And go ahead and reserve the following weekend as well.
Yes. November 6th.
There you go. Go and enjoy it. It's going to be fun. Also, the name is escaping right now, but congratulations to the couple that are in the Red Army that got married at City Stadium before kickoff earlier that day. Congratulations to them. They were in the Red Army right after. So they're in the Red Army, and right now their name is escaping me.
I completely missed this happening.
So yes,
me too.
So they got married at City Stadium earlier that day. They
pulled the Elliott and one up you on this.
They did. They
100% did. They one up you, man.
They 100% did. Can't open the stadium for them, so they had like an officiant, got married at City Stadium, everything, and then came to the game right after. That's what I love. That is true dedication.
That is
true dedication.
They didn't want to try to pull a halftime midfield ceremony.
No, they didn't. They was like, no, we're gonna get the stadium open for us early. We're gonna have this wedding. We're gonna have a good old time.
Nice.
So yeah, congratulations to them. That was really dope. Also, another dope thing was to see good for the podcast, Doug down there in Section O, having a good time doing some chants. That was cool as well. Any other cool things that you guys saw around the weekend? Going around the stadium during the celebrations or anything?
Yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
City Stadium when it gets full, it's just different. It's nice, being able to see the stands. I mean, look, I know it's not like 100%, packed. I mean, that's one of the plus minus, pieces about having the stadium with bench seating still instead of individual bucket seats is that you can probably have that maximum capacity be a sliding scale sort of number depending on how much you want to pack people in there or not. So it's capacity. I bet if they wanted to fit another 500 in there, they could have very easily without having to even take down any of the banners or anything. So just saying, I don't know if there's ever really going to be a sellout because there's always space.
Yeah, there's always space. There's always room to add more, which means we want more. And I think that's the whole mantra the whole team was telling us afterwards. Like, yeah, we're great with this. Yeah, we're fine with this, but we want more. And I think that's kind of like the whole mantra of everything that's going on. Is like
I mean,
we
also not only was there a nearly full house in the stadium. Looking over from Section O, you saw the seats were packed, but not only that, the concourse above was humming with people too. And I'm thinking to myself, if all of those people sat down, like there would be a lot of people that would have no seat because there were so many people there. And not only that, I think it was that one time where Luke Pavone went up for a header around not too far from midfield, probably about I'd say about 15 yards away from Chattanooga's 18, and the ref calls a foul on him, and I'm hearing the Red Army booing that call, and I literally could not believe how loud the boo was from the other side of the stadium. Like the entire stadium was booing, and I have not heard the entire stadium in an uproar like that in a long time.
I think another thing that was cool was like seeing the other parts of the stadium like get involved in like the chants and whatnot, like the Richmond Kickers chant and whatnot. That was kind of cool to see and whatnot because normally that doesn't happen.
Yeah, normally they just look over at us like those crazy people are yelling again. But I mean, there are people who were getting involved. The Stand Up for Richmond chant was a lot more successful than it normally is throughout the season. You could see that this Kickers team, the entertainment that they're putting forth on the field is really drawing people in more. Is making them making the fans more supportive and making the fans pay attention more to the game, because I think one of the issues that you get is you have a lot of these families that come to the game just to have a night out and they're barely paying attention to the game, but you're seeing literally butts in seats, eyes on the field, and just the entire audience, the entire stadium was captivated by the the players on the field, and that's something that is a step in the right direction, a giant step in the right direction of making City Stadium a fortress. I mean, it has been a fortress this season, but imagine, you know, that type of attendance. Okay, you're probably not going to get that every single game of the season, but something close to that every single game of the season. If the players really feed off of that, you're looking at City Stadium being a fortress for a very long time.
Yeah, and Matt, one thing that you always pointed out was like the number of European jerseys has totally decreased from the start of the year to now, where I think I might have saw like maybe three, maybe four, and you've seen a lot of like Richmond jersey, Richmond Nellion being worn around the concourse.
Yeah, I mean that's the bigger thing. It's cool. I mean, yeah, if you, okay, that would be a lie. Let's say I don't mind if people are wearing their Liverpool or whatever other jersey.
Yeah, but I think you're getting Manchester United and Liverpool because they're red, just like the Kickers, which
you get some of that. But I mean, you see other random ones too. I was just picking one off the top of my head right now. But yeah, this year I feel like you've just seen such a higher percentage of people wearing actual Kickers gear, and even jerseys. So like, I feel like that percentage has skyrocketed. Yeah, this year, and that's a good sign. People are wanting to invest their money into showing their support for the team beyond just showing up. They're actually wearing their support for the team. And that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome to see. Guys, I think that's a good point to wrap the show up at.
We got one more point, my man. One more point.
Okay. One more point.
Chenier tried to get us into this, last week, but he was jumping the gun here.
Oh, that's right.
I was.
Final player ratings of the season.
Oh. All right.
Who wants to lead off here?
All right. I'll go first.
All right.
Give me Ethan 3. Give me Matt Lee. Give me Terzaghi 2, and then 1, give me Dakota. That's all I got.
All right.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bentley 3 points.
Okay.
He did have a very good game. He made a nuisance of himself on that right side. 2 points. I'm gonna have to give it to Terzaghi. Emmy just being Emmy, you know. And I'm gonna give my 1 point to Ethan Bryant. I'm sorry that sombrero won my heart over. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that 1 point to Ethan Bryant. He had a great game, which has become a staple for him lately. So yeah, those are my 3.
All right, very good choices. So I went almost the exact same as Ellie. I went Ethan Bryant on the 3, Emmy on the 2, and I went Bentley with my 1.
Okay.
So let me just enter these into the spreadsheet real fast, and we will have ourselves some results for this year.
Oh, here we go.
All right, how deep do you want me to report out on the standings here? Do like top 5?
Yeah, well, this is top 5.
Yeah,
all right.
Let's do top 5. Next round number.
All right. So in our very, I actually think this is a very fair way to do this because we're really doing it game by game and not kind of thinking along the way. So actually, I'm going to say this is a scientific way of determining our player of the year rather than just kind of being like a feel and a vibe sort of thing.
Yeah.
Actually, randomly on a Monday morning.
Yeah, because you could easily see it be a situation where we forget how great something was or how bad something was for the first half of the year, and somebody balls out for like the last 5 weeks, like they're MVP, right?
Yeah.
So coming in 5th of the late surges here, Mr. Ethan Bryant.
Okay.
Our number 4 player of the year, kind of on the flip side of things, started really strong, and that carried him forward for most of the year. His midfield partner, Neil Vinyals, the number 4 River City 93 player of the year. 3rd, old reliable, Akira. So we got our top 2, which I don't think anybody is going to be surprised on who these top 2 are. Right? Meant to be. Meant to be.
Meant to be.
Coming in, winning the title by 1 point over the course of the entire season. So as a reminder, when we've been saying these, 3 points, per person for play, man of the match, second place for 2 points for second, 1 point for the third man of the match. We've been doing this, tracking it all year long. It's come down to 1 point. In the River City 93 player of the year, it's Emiliano Terzaghi.
Oh wow! There you go. All right, so Emmy is wow.
Yeah, and of course Bolaños in close second.
Yep, 1 point back.
Oh, you know what? That's crazy because literally all of us had Emmy at 1.
That's 2 today. So I knew coming in, what he needed to be able to win it. So I was really interested to hear what y'all are going to say. And when it sounded for a second like Chenier was going to not put him second, maybe put him third, which would have been a dead on tie, which I don't know what we would have done at that point.
Oh man. Well, there we go. Emmy is. You got to get Emmy something. Maybe we get him a fruit basket. I don't know. All right.
Did you not watch the video the Kickers put out this week?
I know. We get him a bag of mate.
Yeah,
that's what we do. They're like, "Hey, here's some mate.
Yeah,
hope you enjoy it.
Slap a sticker on it.
Yeah, there you go. Give him that. Guys, it's been a pleasure covering the season with you. We'll be back next week to preview who the Kickers have in their home semifinal playoff game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. This team has deserved it. Every fan, that moment last night was for y'all because Y'all have been here through the good times and the bad times. We deserve to enjoy it. Right, boys?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mark the date on your calendar. Mark it on your calendar.
Make sure you're there.
Yeah, make sure you're there and make sure you get there early because I mean, it was crazy. I got there early yesterday, and it was crazy getting in there. So make sure you get there early, tailgate, enjoy it, have fun. You know, we're in the playoffs, and we are the number one seed. That is something that has been a long time coming, and again, we thank the fans, we thank the players for their performance, but you got to thank Darren for putting his plan in motion 3 years ago and sticking to it. And here we are 3 years later, right on schedule with what he had predicted. Thank you, Darren, for everything he's done for the Kickers.
Yeah. Once again, thank you, Darren. Guys, we will holler at y'all next week. Remember, without y'all, there will be no show. So make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next week. Be easy.